what is the essence? I can only give the summary in such a short time. I will suggest to all the children present here that there is a recording in English on the website, which is sikhmysticism.org. Happy knows about it, and I'm sure there are others who know about it. Dhani's know about it. Dhani's children know about it. When you access that, there is a section called Japji in English, and you can listen in detail. What is the significance? But for the purpose of this session today, we are going to be sitting for about 90 minutes, or at the most from an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending upon the participation. Because I know sitting more than that would be quite difficult. There is no constraint on any one of you to maintain a particular pose. You can relax, you can spread. Just maintain that decorum, and that's basically it. There is no other restrictions. Actually, what's required is the young people should be sitting in the center and the old people should be sitting on the side. Here is exactly the opposite. Why does a young man need to put a back against the wall? I don't understand that. You should invite your mothers to take your spot, and you should go over there. But anyway, that's just a suggestion. The children should not get into the habit of giving the sport to the spine at this young age. Now coming back to Japji. There are few things which people don't notice about Japji when they read it, when they recite it. I will maintain this pace for the rest of the afternoon. If you get a question in your mind while I'm speaking, feel free to ask the question. Don't hold it back so that you forget about it later on. Because this session is supposed to be a dialogue, a conversation between the young and the old. Understand that the Japji, when you open the book, open the Granth, open a Gutka, Japji has no author on it. Majority of the Gurbani tells you who the author is. When Gurbani says Asa Mela Pela, it means it is coming from the first master, first Guru. But Japji doesn't say that. There is no name on top of that. We say, we have concluded by our own mind that it must be from first master. So the first question that you would ask, why is it mentioned there? There is a big secret behind it, which people don't talk about, they don't discuss. And the purpose is the young minds to start asking questions. Raise your curiosity. Seek out the answers. Don't hesitate. You do not belong to a generation where the questions were not allowed. I belong to that generation. I was not allowed to ask clarifications even from my parents. And if they will give the answer and you have a follow-on question, you will be told, you have been told, now accept it and shut up. And that would be the end of it. We were told only to listen and follow and not question. You are going through a time and a space where that type of behavior is not only not going to work, but it is completely unadvisable, because you are in a foreign country, foreign culture. There is a language in the home which most of you don't understand. You have never read it. You have never been taught. Those of you who have been taught some fundamentals, you don't exercise, because when you step out, you speak different language. So now you are forced to reconcile between these two dichotomies. Outside world says something else, inside world you observe something else. So I would encourage the young minds to ask questions, and those who are young at heart, they should also ask questions. Right? I don't want to be beaten up by any one of you. Why there is no mention of the author of Japji? You can even step back a little bit and say, the scripture starts with Ek Ankar. Most of you know that, right? Ek Ankar. Your mother taught you that, right? Respond, shake head, say something. I'm trying to make it a dialogue. This is the only scripture in the entire spiritual world which starts with a number. Ek, 1. It doesn't start with a symbol like Hindu scriptures start with Om. That's a symbol. Sikh scripture doesn't start with a symbol. Why? Why start with a number? A unique thing. So think about it. What are the mystics of Sikhism saying? What they are saying is that the mysticism, spirituality, is not meant for the language. It cannot be described in words, because we are going to be talking about supernatural, the creator. You can call anything. You can call God or Allah, Ram or Vaheguru. It doesn't matter. But they're all referring to a supreme being, a supreme energy. And the supreme energy cannot be described by words. Language is not going to contain it. So it is immediately indicated. I am going to mention the topic in this scripture, which is 1430 pages long. There are more than 2 million words in it. There are more than 58,000 lines in it. There are more than 2,500 hymns in it. But they would not be able to describe what we are trying to do. It will not happen. So they admit it right in the beginning. It's not like the Western culture which says, we know how it happened. Right? You hear that. God created Adam and then he created Eve and then he blah 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 blah, on and on and on. As if they were present there when God was creating. How can they know that? When there is no witness to the event, how it can be said that this is how it happened? Sikhism admits it. It is very honest in saying, we don't know. We can only see from the creation and get some idea about the creator. When we observe the creation, we say creator may be something like this. But that's just maybe. Nobody can say what it is. Then what is this? All these language, all these words in the scripture, what are they? That is why there is no author on Japji, because the message is all these words are flowing from the ultimate creator through this vehicle, through this body, but the words are not from the body. That's why there is no author. Nobody is claiming that this is the author of this scripture. It is truly a message from the beyond. Muhammad declared it. He became the messenger. Nanak did not become the messenger. See, I am not the messenger. I don't know. The words are flowing through my body, but I cannot say I am the messenger. I just know there is a message. That's why there is no claim of the Japji. Jap is not a title. Jap is an instruction. We, since we do not have a title, we have started calling it Jap, Ji. Look how this thing gets distorted as you move on. The word was Jap, that was it. And somebody thought, well, we should show some respect to this. So they started calling it Japji. Somebody thought, well, it doesn't, G standing by itself doesn't look right. So he joined the two. Now it became Japji. So the respect that you were trying to show, it disappeared. Because now the word is joined. You understand what I'm saying? First it was Jap, J and P. Somebody to show the respect, put J and P, J-A-P or J-U-P, and then put next to it J-I, Jap space G. And some other smart guy said, well, this doesn't sound right. He joined the two, it became Japji. Now the respect disappeared again, somebody came and added Japji Sahib. The whole picture changed. So now you ask anybody, what is the first Bani in Guru Granth Sahib? Everybody says, Japji Sahib. The reality is, this is all a distortion of the reality because of lack of understanding. So what is Japji then? Japji starts by trying to set up a foundation of that ultimate creator, because the creator cannot be described as to what the creator is. But creator can be indicated by saying what he is not. Now the young mind will revolt right away and say, well, why did you say he? Why it can't be she? This is an ongoing battle. And it is a completely useless battle. A completely useless argument. Because the energy is neither he, nor she, nor it. Whatever word you will use, it will be wrong. It will be incomplete. This argument, is God a female or a male, a white or a black, is a absolute mockery of the ultimate creation energy. Because none of these characteristics belong to that energy. Energy is just energy. When you turn on the light, Is the light male or female? What title would you give? You just see the light. So these discussions are out of ignorance, out of lack of awareness, out of lack of maturity. Sikhism pulls the mankind out of these kind of traps. And Japji starts with the attempt to describe what he is not. He word is only for convenience, that's all. He is not indicating to you that God is a male or the creator is a male. That's not what he's saying. So don't be under any illusion. Word he in the scripture is only used for convenience. All around the world, everybody knows God has no gender. Energy cannot have any gender. So it starts by saying what he is not. He is nirvair. Nir means without, vair means enmity. How can he be nirvair? Well, in order to have enmity with somebody, or nirbhav, nir again means without and bhav means fear. He doesn't have any fear. Why not? You can only be afraid if there is somebody opposite to you. You can only have the enmity if there is somebody other. You are afraid of someone, or you have the enmity with someone. When there is nobody equal to you, where is the question of being afraid? Because there is nobody to be afraid of. That's how these kind of words, akal. Kal means the bondage of time and space. Akal means without the bondage of time and space. Why he is akal? Because when the time and space was not created, that energy existed. And when the time and space will not exist, that energy will exist. That's why the word akal. Again, the word is negative. It's not positive. Positively, you cannot say what he is. So Gurbani starts with the attempt to define the creator and the creation's relationship with the creator. So when you start reading Japji, and most of the children probably remember the words, when they say Ekimkar Satanam Karta Purkh Nirbhav Nirvair Akal Murt Ajuni Swabhang Gur Prasad Jap, and they start reading the next 5 stanzas is what I was asked to brief. So when you start by saying Soche soch na hovi je sochi lakhwar. Now what are these? Sochi literally means the purity. So when you read the first one, Soche soch na hovi je sochi lakhwar, chupe chup na hovi je lai ravitar, bhukya bhuk na utri je banna puriyan par, sahas sayan pa lakh hoye ta ek na challe na. Now these are 4 lines. And the 4 lines are indicating, the first line indicating the purity, Suchata. The second line indicate Soche sochna hovi je sochi lakhwar. What's the next one? Wait. You told me your children know. Participate. What's the next line? Anybody? Any one of the children? Well, that's not very nice. Okay. If this is stage shyness, that's not a very good thing sitting in the family. This is where you lose this stage shyness. Soche sochna hove je sochi lakhwar. Bhukhya bhukh na utri. Chuppe chup na hove. 3 things. purity, punishing the body, thinking about something. These were the established methods of experiencing the Creator. These are the known methods. Hinduism believes in purity, hence lot of going to various places and taking a dip in the water and believing thereby that provides you cleanliness. Chuppe chup na howe, meaning to sit quietly. That came from the Yoga Mat, yogis. Bhukhiyan pothana tuli. That came from the Jain Mat, to punish the body. Sahas Syan Palak hoye. That came from Buddha Mat, to keep on thinking about something and then find the secret of this. These were the 4 established methods. And Guru Bani says each one of the method has a problem, because they all connect you with the outside. When you are thinking of purity, you are only thinking of the purity of the body. You are not worried about the mind. When you are thinking of sitting quietly, you are only thinking of sitting down quietly by not talking, but the mind is still running inside. When you are thinking of punishing your body, that doesn't mean the mind is quiet. So Sikhism said all of these things are not going to help you grow spiritually, because the spirituality starts from the internal revolution, not the external. Herein lies the difference between all other religion and Sikhism. Sikhism says you change your inside first. Outside will automatically change. You must work on your inside. If the inside is impure, outside is not going to help you. You may impress the outer world. If you are very clean, you are very well dressed up, outside world will be happy with you. But the inside will be still in turmoil. Sikhism teaches the people, work on your inside. And it's not saying ignore your outside, it's saying the outside shall follow. You need to carry both of them. So Japji starts by indicating the emphasis of the word on the outside, and then it turns it around and say, no, kiv satyara hoye, kiv kude tutte pa. The answer comes back, hukam arzai chalna. How shall I evolve? Kiv satyara hoye means, how would I evolve spiritually? And the answer is, first you learn to live according to the will of the Creator. So now the immediate question is going to be, what is the will of the Creator? And how do I know it? The next paudi, as you call it, actually it is a stanza. So the next line says, Hukmi homan akar hukum na kaya jai. Now this is a very interesting statement. You start by saying Hukmi homan akar. Okay, fine. You have said Hukmi homan, that means it is His will that's creating the universe. Very next half of the line says Hukum na kaya jai. Now you as science educated students can immediately say, wait a minute. If it cannot be said, why did you start the topic? Right? It says Hukmi homan akar. That means something is happening according to the will. And the rest of the statement say Hukum na kaya jai. Now these are the things to think about. These are those riddles that spirituality presents. Solve this riddle. can the will be explained or not? And the answer is no, will cannot be explained. If will cannot be explained, then stop discussing it, start talking about it. No, but wait a minute. It needs to be understood. Which is true? It needs to be understood. It cannot be understood. Which is it? Now you have to get out of the bondage of on and off. As computer works, on is 0 and off is 1. Forget about it. Spirituality cannot be understood by on and off logic. What is called binary logic. You understand the computer world of binary? 1 and 0, 1 and 0, 1 and 0. That's all computer knows. The entire computer world is built around these two switches, 0 and 1. Spirituality is not binary. Spirituality says you can be right, both of you, at the same time, and you can be wrong, both of you, at the same time. Computer says no, you can either be right or be wrong, and only one at a time. That's how the brain works. That's how the logic works. Spirituality doesn't work that way, and Gurbani is pure spirituality. You cannot get stuck with it. Which one is? Both are true. Hukam, the will, cannot be explained, yet it can be understood. So you have to get out of the paradigm, the blinders that you have. Either it is right or it is wrong. No. It can be right and wrong simultaneously. How does that happen? It happens depending upon your perspective. Which direction you are looking at will make you right and wrong at the same time. Let me give you an example. The famous parable of 5 blind men go to a zoo, and the first animal they see is an elephant. The first blind man, because they can only see the things by touching them, the first blind man walks straight and touches the stomach of the elephant. And he tells the other 4, elephant is like a wall. The second happens to touch the leg, and he says, you are wrong. Elephant is like a tree. The third one is touching the trunk. He says, you are both wrong. It's like a electric pole. Fourth one says, all 3 of you are wrong. He's touching the ear. He says, it's like a fan. Which is right and which is wrong? They are all right and they are all wrong simultaneously. Why? Because they are only seeing partial truth. That is what is about Creator. We only see a partial truth. We see a woman, he must be a woman. We see a man, he must be a man. We see a child, he must be a child. Surdas is a saint who could not get out of the idea that Krishna is always a little kid. He cannot see Krishna as a grown-up man at all. All of the hymns by Surdas is about Krishna's childhood. Biases, blinders. Will can be understood and will can be followed, but will cannot be totally explained. Why? Because the will is as great the creator himself. Since creator cannot be explained, his will cannot be explained. That's the significance of the second paragraph. हुक्मी होवन आकार हुक्म ना किया जाए हुक्मी होवन जी हुक्म मिले वड्याई हुक्मी उत्तम नीच हुक्मे लिख दुख छुपाइए एक ना हुक्मी बख्शीस एक हुक्मे सदा पुआइए हुक्मे अंदर सबको बाहर हुक्म ना कोई. Everything is according to his will. Now there will be a second question. If everything is according to his will, then why I am being told to stay within his will, because I cannot go outside? You just said that, hukme andar sabko. Can I go outside the will? No, you cannot. Then what is my responsibility? How are you going to reconcile these two? And one of your questions is that. That question is answered in the second paragraph. What is my responsibility then if everything is according to him? Think about. You just saw Olympics. The games were being played. The person who designed the game, that person had set up the rules of the game. Can any player design his or her own rules to play that specific game? What you think? Once the game is designed, can you as a player go and set up a new rule of the game? No. Yeah, say something. Interact. This is not a performance for me. Your mother wanted you to participate in something so that you can ask the questions freely, openly. Don't be intimidated by my long beard. I'm just lazy, I'm not tying it anymore. I'm not a Babaji. I'm just like one of you. When I was your age, I was struggling with that. There was nobody to answer my questions. And I am trying to pay that back to the society today and say, if you have questions, please ask. And whatever I have learned, I'll share with you. Once the game is designed, a player cannot change the rules of the game. That means, but player has a choice to play the foul or stay within the game. Right? If the player plays the foul, the points are deducted. The consequences are known. If the player plays according to the rule, the consequences are known. But the game remains the same. Let's bring it to this world. If you want to feed a tiger some grass, some vegetables, can you do that? Tiger will not eat anything other than the meat. You are trying to change the rule of the law, of the nature. It will not work. You cannot feed meat to a cow because that's not according to the law. But the cow will eat any other kind of grass, but it will not eat meat. So what is your role in it? You can choose any kind of grass to feed the cow that you want. That means it will be according to his will. You cannot go against his will. So what's my responsibility? What's my role in it? My role is to pick up the right choice out of all the available choices. I have my free will to make a choice. That choice that is available to me. but I cannot make my own choices. That's how it is said, Hukme andar sabko bahar hukam na koe. Everything is according to his will. Nothing is against the will. Nobody can go against the will. That doesn't mean you don't have any responsibility at all. Your responsibility is you have choices. Make the right choice. So now the question is, how do I know what is the right choice? And Japji goes on to explain that. And it says, if you have learned to listen to your inner voice, what is right for you is written inside you. Every single individual has that written inside. Hukum razai chalana nanak likhya naal. Naal means it is with you, it is within you. And your hukum is only with you, not with him. And his hukum is only with him, not with you. Okay, fine. Now what do I do? If what is right for me is written inside me, it is hidden inside me, how do I find out? What is right for me? Sikhism says, you can train your mind to quiet down so much that when you ask your question from within you, what is the right thing for me now? You will hear the voice. Okay, if that is the case, how do I get there? Today when I ask myself what is right for me, I don't hear anything. If I close my eyes, all I see is darkness. I neither see anything nor hear anything. How do I get there? And the Sikhism says, you start with the first step. And what was the first step? Go back to the first step. Ekimkar, Satnam, Kartapurk, Nirbhav, Nirvair, Akal Murth, Ajuni, Swabhang, Gur Prasad. How do I get the Prasad? The answer is Jap. Start your life with Jap. Devote certain amount of time of your life to Jap. To Jap what? The answer came back, Jap Aad sach, Jugad sach, hai bhi sach, Nanak hosi bhi sach. Jap that. The one only do the job about the one who has ever been there, will continue to be there. Only that. Don't do the job of something that by itself is not everlasting. Don't take any saint, don't take any. Say for example, if you start saying Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ram. Let's say that. What happens? Immediately you start remembering the Ramayana. That means now the mind will start thinking of Ramayana. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna. You will start thinking of Mahabharata. Gurbani is saying, take the word which has no other significance other than the creative energy. No stories behind it, no history behind it, nothing attached with it. If you start practicing jap of a word which has no other significance other than the creative energy, and you keep on telling your mind, stop, sit down and listen to this, stop, sit down and listen to this, stop, sit down and listen to this, you will start bringing your mind to a quietness. When the mind is quiet, the inner voice becomes audible to you. You can literally hear it. And that is the reason Japji Sahib starts the journey by saying, Sunaya Siddh Peer Surnath, Sunaya Tartavalakar, Sunaya Deep Lokatal, Sunaya Po Na Sakke Kal, Nanak Bhagtan Sadavegar, Sunaya Dukh Paap Ka Nas. Sunaya means to hear, to listen properly. In order to learn to listen properly, the mind has to be quiet. In this culture, there are specialized training being given to all of the people, particularly in management. Once you graduate, get out of the school, go to the business world, your management will send you to a class called effective listening. They will train you how to sit down in a meeting of so many people and listen so that you don't miss anything. Have you ever fallen asleep in the class? No, good. How about you? Good. Why do the people fall asleep? Any idea? Anybody want to venture a guess? Why do the people, when somebody talks, go to sleep? Actually, there is a joke. A wife comes down to the husband, who is a professor, and she says, would you please go and talk to the younger one? What's the problem? Well, he is not falling asleep. So what can I do? Well, I hear the moment you open your mouth in the class, the half of the class is asleep. So I hope if you go to talk to him, he'll fall asleep. Why do the people fall asleep in a class? Because the effective listening isn't there. Mind becomes dull because it's not listening anything. It switches itself off because it's dull. If the effective listening is there, you can never fall asleep in any talks, in any meetings. Board meetings have one of the biggest problems. People are making movies of the Congress in the chambers. Half of them asleep, rest of them playing games on their video monitors. They have actually taken videos. And somebody on the podium is giving a lecture about a bill that's going to be discussed and the votes are going to be passed. Effective listening. Training of the ear to listen. So in Japji, there are 4 stanzas only on listening. The most important tool in the entire body, the ear. Why it is the most important? Why not eyes? Why not hands? Why not legs? Why not mouth? Why is ear important? Anybody want to venture a guess? Why is the ear important? Ear is important because you as an individual have nothing to do to listen. In order to speak, you have to open the mouth. In order to see, you have to open the eyes. In order to do something, you have to move the hands. What have you to do to listen? The ear is already open. You can literally say, I am seeing, because you open the eyes. But you cannot say, I am hearing, because you are doing nothing. Ear cannot claim, I am listening. With the hearing, it is actually the opposite. You can say, would you please say it again? Why should I say it again? Well, I didn't hear you. How come? Oh, my mind was somewhere else. So that means you are not listening with your ear. You are listening with your mind. And if the mind isn't there, effective listening cannot happen even though the ear is open. Here is a secret for meditation to do the job. Because if the mouth is saying Vaheguru, 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 and the mind is not listening, ear is listening. But if the mind isn't listening, you are not listening. And if you are not listening, you are not doing the job. So Gurbani said, Japji said, you can learn to hear your own inner voice by starting to do the jap. And jap of a word that reminds you only of the Creator. Guru, Guru, jap meet hamare, mukh ujjal hove darbare. That's okay. You want to say Guru, Guru? Say Guru, Guru. Jap man Satnam, Sada, Satnam. Okay. You want to say Satnam, Satnam? Say Satnam. But whatever you're saying, use your mind which is listening to it. Once you are able to practice that and shut down the noise inside your head, then whatever choice comes in front of you, you can ask that voice, tell me, I have 5 choices, which one is right for me? Most of the time you will find out after making the choice if this choice was good for me or not. If you are a meditator and your mind is quiet, you can ask it before making the choice and say, should I eat this or not? So what happens today? The eyes say, eat it, it's good. Stomach says, no, I'm full. And the mind says, it doesn't matter. So you go ahead and eat it anyway. And a half an hour later, oh damn, I should not have eaten that. You just found out that that was not the right decision for you. If you want to find what's the right decision, one thing requirement. It is written inside you, every single individual. You just have to learn to ask the question, number 1, then the capacity to hear the answer. And the answer will be heard only and only if the mind is quiet. That is the essence of the first 5 stanzas of. Rather than giving you line by line, word by word, which will take much longer time. So, in the first, about 45 minutes or so, we were going to discuss this. So here we are going to take a pause and we are going to open for questions and answers. The 2 questions that you sent me. The first question that was sent to me was, why does God gives so much misery and pain to the people? Anybody else has that question? You feel the same? Okay. The first and foremost thing to understand, God does not give anything to anyone. God has just made the game, and He has made the rules of the game, as I said earlier. We can play the game as we like. We can play the foul, or we can be the champion, or we can be the winners, or we can be the losers. How we play the game is dependent upon us. Whatever we are experiencing in life is the result of our choices, our decisions. Some of the decisions that we make, we can see the result right away. Just as I gave you the example, you eat the wrong food or more food, your body within 20 minutes of digesting that food will tell you that you have eaten the wrong food. The result is immediate. Same way, if you plant a summer season fruit or flower, before the summer is out, you will see the fruit and you will see the flower, right? If you plant tomatoes now in these days, within 3 months you get enough of tomatoes, right? Because that seed needs only 3 months to sprout. If you plant a fruit tree, it might take a year or 2. If you plant a mango tree, it might take about 7 years before the fruit will come. You see what I'm saying? Each seed has a certain gap between when the seed is planted and when the fruit comes up. Is that fair? And every seed has its own lifespan. You take a case of a hen and a rooster. Hen will give you the eggs. Within 6 weeks there will be few of the little ones running around. Within 6 weeks. That seed needs only 6 weeks. A human plants a seed, it takes 9-10 months before the fruit comes. You look at an elephant, it takes 27 months to produce a child. What does it mean? All these examples are telling you that every seed has a gap between planting the seed and seeing the result. Similarly, every choice that we make in life has its result. Some of the choices we make immediately and we get the result immediately. And some of the choices take a long time for the result to come back. So what normally happens is, we only know that this is the fruit. The fruit, what you are calling a pain, a misery, a disease, a suffering. That is the result, not the seed. The seed was planted some way back. It could be even planted in your previous life. Because you live in a culture, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, all three religions are saying there's only one life. End of discussion. But if you ask them, why did he give me a life like this? Why I was not born as a Prince Harry? Well, today I don't want to be Harry anyway, so. But you know what I mean. Why wasn't I born a prince, a king? What answer would the Judaism give? What answer the Christianity will give? What answer the Islam will give? Who made the choice for me to be born like this? Based on what? None of the three religions have an answer. They are completely quiet. And well, they said, well, it's God's will. Fine. It's God's will. How does He decide all these things? Based on what? Why am I born as a woman? Why am I not a man? Oh, well, God decides. Okay, fine, but based on what? Give me one satisfactory answer, one satisfactory reason. Sikhism comes around and says, I will answer your question. The answer to your question is, this is not your first cycle on this planet. This is not your first life. As a matter of fact, it goes on to say, Kai janam bhai keet patanga, kai janam ga jameen kuranga, kai janam pankhi birk hoyo, kai janam haver brick joyo. It keeps on counting. You have gone through multiple cycles of lives and birth before you qualified to be born as a human. Okay. If I have been dogs and cats and animals in my previous life, what was the reason to come into this life then? Sikhism answers that too. It says, I'll tell you why you have a human life. Why were you not born as a cat or a dog or a bull or a camel? Why not? And the answer is, according to Sikhism, you are in multiple cycles of birth and deaths. If you want to get rid of this cycle of birth and death, human body is required. In cat's body, in a dog's body, you can be born as a cat, but you will die as a cat as well. In a human body, you can be born as a human and die as a god, or die as an animal, or die as a devil. You have all this range. All choices are available to you, but only while you are in the human body form. I can be very well in a human body form and be living the life of a dog. What are the two qualities of a dog? Very faithful to the master, one quality. And what is the other quality? Very greedy. So think about this. If I am very faithful to the company I am working for, at the same time my total focus is only to keep on collecting as much money and wealth as I can, and nothing else, am I not living the life of a dog? Do I need to have a face of a dog to behave like a dog? No, I don't. I can live a dog's life in the human body form. Gurbani says, you have that choice. Do you want to live like a dog? Go right ahead. Like a horse? Go like that. Like a tiger? Be like that. We always compare the people with the animals. He's stubborn like a jackass. Isn't it? I don't look like a jackass, but I'm stubborn. He is hardworking like a horse. I don't look like a horse. He's faithful like a dog. He's smart like a fox. What does it mean? Characteristics of behavior. Human life is given to get rid of all of those characteristics and become like God. Become like Creator. We make the choices. If I am suffering, I put the seed of that suffering somewhere in my journey. It's not God's fault. It's not God's responsibility. God has nothing to do with it, except that He made the rules of the game. The rules of the game says, if you put this seed, this is the fruit. If you put this seed, this is the fruit. And that's all He has done. Everything that I'm going through today is my choice. I may not have made it today. I have made it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, or before I was born. It doesn't matter. But that choice was mine. So the question, why is God giving suffering to the people? The answer is He is not. Suffering is because of our choices. Happiness is because of our choices. Rewards are because of our choices. Punishment is because of our choices. God has nothing to do with it. Why not? Because He's not affected by our choices. He's beyond that. He's a transcendental thing. This light is hitting this recorder. And this recorder is shining. This recorder reflects the light back to the bulb. Is the bulb getting affected by it? No. But this is getting affected. The wall is getting affected. Is the wall affecting the bulb? No. If the light is falling on the water, is the water cooling the bulb? No. But the water is lighted up by the light. Same way, the Creator is affecting the creation, but it is not being affected by the creation itself. So to think about God is punishing the people is a wrong concept, only perpetuated by Judeo-Christian mythology. Because for them, God is a rewarder, God is a punisher, God is a forgiver. They give these characteristics to God. Sikhism says, Creator has absolutely no characteristics. End of discussion. Not a single one. He's not a punishing one, He's not a rewarding one, He's not a praising one, He's not a condemning one. No, He's beyond all of this. The second question was, are there ghosts? The answer is the ghosts are not there as you see in the movies today. What is available right now in this atmosphere is a different dimension that the physical body does not cross. When the entity that is called Jaswant Singh today, when this entity drops this physical body, it is going to travel from the physical dimension and transit into what is in mysticism called astral plane. In the astral plane, which is the fourth dimension from the zero dimension, it's a fourth level. That is where this entity will look at what it has done in the physical dimension and then decide what it wants to do when it goes back. While that decision is taking place, there is a gap, there is a time lapse. In that time lapse, sometime the energies cross the boundaries back and forth. Those are the kind of apparitions that sometime we connect with. and we think they are ghosts. There is no such animal. This friendly ghost series that ran on the television was only for entertainment purpose. Don't take it literally. There is no such animal. It is this entity waiting to make a decision to start the next life cycle. So those were the two questions that I sent as an email. I'm going to take a pause here and see if there is anything else anybody wants to ask before we start the Kirtan. सतगुर जागता है देव, सतगुर जागता है देव, भूली मालनी है भूली मालनी है सतगुर जागता है देव, सतगुर जागता है देव। सतगुर जागता है देव, भूली मालनी है पाती तोरे मल पाती पाती जियो, पाती तोरे मालनी पाती पाते जियो, जिस पाहन को पाते तोरे सो पाहन निर्जियो, भूली मालनी है एओ सतगुर जागता है देव, भूली मालनी है सतगुर जागता है देव। ब्रह्म पाती बिशन डारी, ब्रह्म पाती बेसन डारी, फूल शंकर देव, फूल शंकर देव, तीन देव परताख तोरे, तीन देव परताख तोरे, करे किसकी सेव, करे इसकी सेव, पाती तोरे मालनी पाती पाती जी। तोरे मालनी पाती पाती जियो, जिस पाहन को पाती तोरे सो पाहन निर्जियो। भूली मालनी है एयो सतगुर जागता है देव। भूली मालनी है एयो सतगुर जागता है देव। पाती तोरे मालनी पाती पाती जियो, पाती तोरे मालनी पाती पाती जियो, जिस पाहन को पाती तोरे सो पाहन निर्जियो। भूली मालनी है एयो सतगुर जागता है देव। भूली मालनी है एयो सतगुर जागता है देव। पाखान गाड़ी के मूरत कीनी, पाखान गढ़ के मूरत कीनी, दे के छाती पाँव। साची है जे मूरत, साची है तो गड़न हारे खाओ, तो गड़न हारे खाओ। पाती तोरे मालनी पाती पाते जियो, पाती तोरे मालनी पाती पाते जियो, जिस पाहन को पाते तोरे सो पाहन निर्जियो। भूली मालनी है एयो सतगुर जागता है देव। भूली मालनी है एयो सतगुर जागता है देव। भात पहत आर लापसी कर करा सार। भोगण हार भोग गया, भोगण हार भोग गया। इस मूरत के मुख छार, इस मूरत के मुख छार। पाती तोरे मालनी पाती पाती जियो पाती तोरे मालने पाती पाती जियो जिस पाहन को पाते तोरे सो पाहन निर्जियो भूली मालनी है एयो सतगुरु जागता है देव भूली मालनी है एयो सतगुरु जागता है पाती तोरे मालने पाती पाती जियो. You have gone to the garden and you have picked up few flowers. Pati tore malani. Flowers, petals. It's picking up the petals. Why? Because they are going to be offered to the statue, to the murti, the statue of the gods. And the Kabir Ji is asking, the flower was alive when it was on its branch, and you decided to kill that flower, and then you brought that flower and offered it to a dead stone. How is that a worship? Who are you pleasing? By killing somebody, you think you are pleasing the God? Brahmapati Besan Dari बेसन डारी फूल शंकर दे फूल शंकर दे तीन देव परताख तो तीन देव परताख तोरे करे किसकी से. Who are you worshipping? Brahmapati. The flower is Brahma. Why? Because Brahma gives birth, Brahma creates, and flower creates the fruit. First the flower comes, then the fruit comes. That means the flower is the father of the fruit. Brahmapati, Vishnadari, Vishnu, your second God. He is the sustainer. But the flower is stained by the branch, Dari. That means branch is representing the Vishnu. Phool Shankar Deyo. Shankar means the one who destroys. When the flower falls off the branch, the flower dies. That means the flower is representing the Vishnu. So now, by cutting it off, you have killed Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. You tell me, who are you worshipping? करे किसकी से हो? Who are you worshipping? ब्रह्म बाते बिशन डारी, ब्रह्म बाती बिशन डारी, फूल शंकर देव, फूल शंकर देव, तीन देव पर ताख तोरे, तीन देव पर ताख तोरे, करे किसकी से, करे किसकी से, हाथी तोरे मालनी पाते पाते जियो, हाथी तोरे पालनी पाते पाते जियो, जिस पाहन को पाते तोरे सो पाहन निर्जियो, भूली मालनी है एओ सतगुर जागता है दे, भूली मालनी है एओ सतगुर जागता है दे। पाखान कट के मूरत कीनी, देख के पाती पाँव, जे मूरत साची है तो गड़न हारे खाओ। When you make the statue, what happens? The statue is tall. You will take a rod of a steel and hammer into the middle of the stone, right about here, so that you can make the face. Look at where Kabir Ji is going. He says, Pakhan gadke murat kini. Pakhan means that stake in the stone. You take that stake, drive through the heart of the stone and stand on top of it, as if you are actually standing on the chest of your God. Pakhan gadke murat kini deke chhati paao. So if you are standing on the chest of your God, is he feeling respected or insulted? The reality is, you are insulting your God so much. If it was the true God, he should have eaten you alive first. Je Murat Sachi hai to Gadan hare khao, to gadan hare khao, aati tore malade, paati paate jiyo, just पाहन को पाती तोड़े, सो पाहन निर्जियो भूली। नालड़ी है एओ सतगुरु जागता है। भात पहत आर लापसी, कर करा का सार। भोगण हार भोगया इस मूरत के मुख छाव। इस मूरत के मुख छाव। Then you decorated your plate of the food. Bhat, pahat. Bhat means bata, sweet. Pahat, kheer. Arlapsi, rice. Karkara, something salt. Kasar, what you take that achar, something little sour. So you decorated this dish and you took to your God and you offered it. Now tell me, who's eating that? Your God? When you offer the food to your statue, is the statue eating your food? No, wait. He is not eating it. Who's eating it? Pujari. Bhoganahare, the pujari. Bhoganahare bhogya. What happened to the statue? Say, look at his face. All you see is dust on his face, not the food. Bhoganahare bhogya. इस मूरत के मुख छार, सैंड, डस्ट। भोगण हारे भोगया इस मूरत के मुख छार। मूरत के मुख छार। मालन भूली जग भुलाना, हम भुलाने ना। क्या है कबीर, हम राम राखे। क्या कबीर, हम राम राखे। कृपा कर हर राय, कृपा कर हर राय। माटी तोरे बालड़ी माटी काती जीव, काती तोरे मालड़ी माटी पाते जीव। जिस पाहन को पाती तोरे, सो पाहन निर्जियो भूली। मालड़ी है एहो सतगुरु जागता है रे। भूली मालड़ी है एहो सतगुरु जागता है रे। तीजा आनंद एक ओंकार सतगुरु प्रसाद। नंद भया मेरी माए सतगुरु मैं पा बुता पाया सहर सिद्धि मन वजिया माता। काग रतन परवार परिया शब्द गावो दोत गावो हरि केरा मन जनी वर्षा। कहे नानक आनंद हुआ सतगुरु मैं पाए। हे मन मेरे तू सदा रहो हर नाल रहो मन मेरे दुख सब विसार। अंगीकारो करे तेरा कार्य सब सवार सबना गला समरथ स्वामी सुखो कहे नानक मन मेरे सदा रहो। साचे साहेबा क्या नहीं कर तेरे करता तेरे सब कुछ है जिस दे सोपा। सदा सिर सलाह तेरी नाम मन वसा नाम जिनके मन वस्या वाजे शब्द गनेर। कहे नानक सच्चे साहिब क्या नहीं कर तेरे साचा नाम मेरा आधार। हथ नाम आधार मेरा जिन भुखा सब गवा दर्शान सुख मनाय वसिया जिन इच्छा सब। सदा कुर्बान कीता गुरु बिटो जिस्तियां ये बड़े आए। कहे नानक सुनो संतो शब्द करो प्यारो साचा नाम मेरा आधार। बाजे शब्द कर सबागे हर सबागे शब्द बाजे काला जित कर धारिया। पंच दो तुद वर्ष कीते काल कंटक मार गुर करम पाया तुझको से नाम हर के लाग। कहे नानक तैस होवा तितर अनहदवार। आनंद सुनो बड़ भागियो सबल मनोरथ पूरे पार ब्रह्म प्रपाया उतरे सर्व शूर। दुख रोग संताप उतरे सुनी सच्ची बाणी संत साजन भय सबसे पूरे बुद्धे सुनते पुनीत कहते पवित्र सतगुरु रहा प्रभु। दिनवंत नानक गुरु चरण लागे वाजे अनहदुरे श्लोक पावन गुरु पाणी पिता माता तर्थ महा। दिवस रात दो दाई दाया खेले सगल जग चंगियाइयां बुराइयां वाजे धर्मा दूर। गर्मी आपो अपनी के नेड़े के दूर जिन्नी नाम ते आया गए मशक्कत काल। नानक ते मुख उज्जले इति झूठी ना। वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की